Hey everyone, Rene here. In this video, I will review 15 of the decks that I serviced and repaired in the last 3 months. If you want, you can check out the detailed repair video for each deck on the channel. I will give you a quick and honest, but sometimes somewhat biased opinion on these decks and whether or not I think they're good enough to buy and my reasoning why. I try to keep every review to less than 1 minute to prevent you from falling asleep and not bore you too much. The Kenwood KX-54. You can probably tell by the looks that it doesn't have a cassette holder. You probably recognize this deck because I've been using it for some other how-to videos, videos how to repair decks, videos how to clean decks. It is actually a very, very, very difficult deck to repair. I would not recommend this. It has a couple of standard faults that I touched upon. I have a whole video how to solve that common single fault. This was a deck that made me decide to start this channel because I wanted to show people if they have one and they have this problem, how to solve it. Would I recommend buying one of these? Absolutely not. The build quality is just not there. Wow and Flutter is just not there. It is a cheaply made deck. So the KX-54 and the KX-44, if you're looking at one, don't get it. It's just not worth the hassle. Let me add one last thing. If you do have one and you manage to repair it and you manage to get back up and running, you replaced all the belts, you have no wow and flutter, fixed a little spring problem, you're a master cassette deck repairer. Just don't buy one. The Yamaha KX-W952. As far as I'm concerned, this is the last of the real good double cassette decks. There are two two individual transports that can do anything and everything a single deck can do, but they can also work in tandem to be a dual deck. You can record from A to B, from B to A, you can do high-speed dubbing. Both decks have separate inputs and outputs, and they have all the functions you want and need on the front. If you can get one, and I know more than one subscriber are looking for one, but for a good price, including the remote, get the remote with it, I will definitely get it, as it's one of the absolute best dual wells. And the auto reverse mechanism for the head is good. It won't give you much problem. The pinch roller has ceramic bearings, so no cause for concern there. And it's just an overall good quality. Basically, you get two single decks in one package, and it's auto reverse as well. Do I recommend it? Absolutely. What's this doing here? No, we're not doing this one. This one is for the next review. The Yamaha K-540. This, for me, is still one of my personal favorite cassette decks. If somebody asks me what kind of cassette deck should I get, the first thing that comes to my mind is the Yamaha K-540. It's bomb-proof, easy to service, and very, very few real problems aside from maybe a belt that goes. I would definitely recommend it for regular use, and I promise you it won't disappoint. It has the high speed forward, the triple speed, the double speeds, it's got a nice little counter, no counter belt. It's very easy to service. It will not disappoint. The Kenwood KX-880, this is the HX model. This one has a stellar mechanism, and the mechanical specs will be as good or better than the most expensive deck out there. And yes, I'm pointing at you, Nakamichi Dragon. With a wow of flutter of 0.02%, if you get a good one, 0.02% after you do your own recording. And this is achievable due to a single capstan direct drive motor. The most common issue is the back tension belt here, and sometimes a dead spot in the reel motor. The sound quality is between good decks and top of the line decks, but the mechanical specs are absolutely phenomenal. It does have bias adjust and level adjust. You can do anything you want with this deck. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. For me, this is almost the winner of all the decks that we've discussed in the last 3 months. If you can find one for an acceptable price to you, get it. The Yamaha TC-800GL, one of the coolest decks that I know. Come on, look at it, right? Would I recommend it? It belongs in a museum. Actually, there was one in a museum. If it works, it is fantastic. Look at the little view meters here. That works. You know, look at the design. You can put this in a showcase, play tapes. Now, this is mid-70s, so music quality is also mid-70s, but the transport is up there with the best. Would I recommend it? If you can find one that is working, if you can find one that has been restored and maintained and the belt's been replaced and the idler is done, buy it. If you find one that's defective, here comes my love and hate relationship. No, I wouldn't recommend doing it yourself. I would recommend buying it if you can find a good working one. The Tascam 322, I think you can't go wrong with it. You know, it's a dual bay. It's got two acceptable good transports. It's auto reverse. You can do dubbing, you can recording, you can do anything. It even has pitch control. However, it does not stand up to the pre-2000 decks that were just built better than the post-2000 decks. It has Dolby B&C, so that's good. Something you won't see on any more normal deck again. But it just won't reach the level of the decks that came before this. If you compare this to the mid-level or high-level Yamahas of the 1990s, it won't stand a chance. But for a post-2000 deck, would I recommend it to make recordings, even put it into a 19-inch rack? Absolutely. Looks stunning. Would I recommend it? If you can pick one up for a good price, sure, why not? Should you expect miracles? No. If you want really high quality, look for a pre-2000 deck, you know, in the mid to high-end range, and you'd be better off than this one. Marantz SD-60. Even though I had some issues with this one, it is a good, solid deck. I think it's the same as the Revox C115. It's got a very, very nice, solid transport, a good mechanism. The stability is up there with the best from what I could tell. Frequency response on the normal tapes was easily 20 kilohertz. Wow and flutter, as you can see in one of my other videos, around 0.04%, which is very, very, very good. Again, I'm missing some sort of auto tune, but it does have the bias level. You know, for a deck this solid and in this class, I would have liked to have seen auto tune buttons. So you can put in a tape, press the auto tune, it sets the bias, it sets the level, and you can record. Overall, good deck. Service is a bit harder as you need to remove the whole front panel, but I would absolutely recommend this one if you can find it. The Yamaha KX-R730. Even though I absolutely love the color, you know, the appearance is stunning with the display, the color itself, you know, it still looks very, very modern after 30 years. Honestly, I wish I could recommend it, but the eject and close mechanism is kind of fragile. There are better auto reverse decks out there. The build quality is okay. Also, the auto reverse can easily affect the azimuth, as I feel the azimuth system is a bit underdesigned. The looks are still stunning, but I would not recommend the Yamaha KX-R730 for serious music recording. Does it work? Absolutely. Will it sound fantastic as a first deck? Absolutely. Do I recommend it? Maybe not so much. Kenwood KX-730. This is a deck from the mid-90s where the manufacturers started to pinch pennies on the cassette decks. You know, the CDs were taking over the world, cassettes sold less and less and less, and cassette decks sold less and less and less. This particular deck, I would have liked to recommend it, but I can't. Even though it has auto bias functions, it works great, it looks great still after all these years, but the transport is just very hard to service. It is very hard to find good fitting belts of good quality that keep the wow and flutter down. Would I recommend it? No. The Yamaha KX-630. Even though this has the same transport as the Kenwood KX-730 that I mentioned earlier, I would rate this higher. It has the play trim, which is very, very useful if you just want to add a little bit of high frequencies after you record it. It has the settings you want, Dolby, MPX filter, 3 heads so you can listen to it while you record, you know exactly what's going to the tape. And it's built better than the Kenwood. Would I recommend this one? I recommend this one over the Kenwood. It's a good solid deck. Sound quality is good. It's higher than the Kenwood 730. Recommend it. If you can pick one up for not too much money, go ahead. One thing you need to know is the belts. If you have to replace the belts, find good quality belts. The belts that I have ordered for this one are a bit of a hit and miss, so make sure that you get a good supplier. Don't just get one from China or in a package, because it will destroy the wow and flutter. The Yamaha KX-300. Even though this was an entry-level deck, it has play trim, bias adjust, Dolby BNC, repeat functions, everything. Most importantly, the sound quality is just fantastic. This little machine will rival way more expensive ones. Another bonus, it's very easy to service. Parts are available, very simple inside, but if you want a top level entry deck, you should be able to pick these up for 10, 20, 30, 40, maybe 50 bucks. Get one. You will not be disappointed the way this little thing sounds. Would I recommend it? Absolutely. The Kenwood KX-1100. Even though this is the bigger brother of the KX-880, I always thought I would rather have this one and I would like it more than the KX-880. I can't. Even though it's easier to adjust because it has the calibration mode and you can adjust each channel for level and bias, it is more complex. It's a 3-head, so the tape path is more cumbersome. It's a little bit more complex due to the double flywheel. And the double flywheel also causes a little bit higher wow and flutter. I doubt that you can hear that during normal use, but because it's a 3-head deck, it's probably more expensive, which is why I would recommend the 880 over this one. However, if you can find one for any music lover, there's a few higher end decks that are better than this one, but this is still a solid, recommendable machine. Akai, the GX-32. This was a customer machine. Actually, a very, very good entry mid-level deck. I love, and I do mean that, I love that it has the glass heads. No wear, no tear. Mechanical specs are good. Recording, playback is up there. It has the bias adjust here, so you can adjust to the tape that you're using. Dolby, filters, everything that you would need in a little deck. So would I recommend it? If you find one and you're doubting, pick one up. They're good. Yeah, would I recommend? Absolutely. What can I say? I'm a Yamaha fanboy. My personal KX-1200, I would not want to trade this for the world. DBX, Orbit, auto tune, noise reduction, Dolby BC, DBX, MPX filters, bias test so you can fine tune each and every tape. Stellar mechanicals. The only problem is the idler tire pulley breaks, so either replace it or have one made in bronze that will fit. That's basically the only standard problem is the idler pulley. Other than that, back in the day you had the K-1000, KX-1200, the K-2000, if I remember correctly. Would I recommend this? Yeah. You know what? Go out, get one, have it serviced, and never look back. If you think these videos are helpful and fun, can you do me a favor and hit the subscribe button? Thank you. The Denon DRM-800, very solidly built. It was a pleasure to work on, actually. This particular one was a bit dirty from all the nicotine smoke. In the end, solid deck, 3 heads. I would have liked, again, if it had some sort of auto bias. It has the bias fine tune, so you can always, adjust to your own liking. An auto tune would have made it easier. All in all, solid deck. If you can find one, I see no reason why you shouldn't get one. It's easy to service, a little bit involved, but worth it. Would I recommend it? Yeah, why not?